My name is Ryne Cherry, and I'm the vocal director here at Bach. Over there on the cello is Charlie Rasmussen. He is our instrumental director. And in the back is our treasurer, Alan Murhead. We are so excited to welcome you here today for our program of J.S. Bach's Jesu, Meine, Freude Motet, EWV 227. I'm going to do a few announcements real quick, and then we'll have some program notes, and then our performance. So after the motet today, at every Just Bach performance, we do a chorale. And that chorale, we invite you to join along. So when we get to that point, I will pronounce the German text, and then all of us up here will sing through the chorale one time. Please join us on the second time through the chorale. We would like to thank Andrew Schaefer and the Luther Memorial staff for hosting us here today. We would also like to thank Denn Arts and Madison Arts Commission for their generous support of us for this concert season. For those unable to attend, the concert video will be released on YouTube. The concert and video are available to anyone free of charge. That being said, we rely on our patrons and grants to support these concerts. If you enjoy these concerts, please consider making a donation to support our concert series. You can donate cash at the back or visit our website, www.justbach.org, and follow the directions to make a tax-deductible donation. Finally, this concert marks the beginning of the Bach Around the Clock Festival, the 7th annual Bach Around the Clock Festival. The festival starts today and continues through the 11th. More information can be found at bachclock.com. I would also like to mention that on Friday the 10th, there is a concert here by Wolfgang Rübsam, and he will be doing an organ concert at Luther Memorial at 7:30 on March 10th as part of the Bach Around the Clock Festival. Finally, I'd like to hand it over to Geoffrey Williams. He is the assistant professor of church music and the director of chapel at the Shoda House Theological Seminary.
Good afternoon. Just a little bit about motets and Bach and why I think they're important. You're all here probably because you're fans of Bach. It's interesting that Bach wrote 6 motets, we think. Maybe attribution is questionable about a few of them. But considering the fact that he wrote over 400 church cantatas, 6 seems kind of a small number for a motet. But what Bach was doing was really adding to a lineage that his predecessors in Leipzig especially were building a library, 16th and 17th century, and then Bach 18th century motets that were a regular part of their use in the library in Leipzig. And so they would sing motets by Palestrina and Hassler and Lassus and all these things that might even be from pre-Reformation days. And so Bach was adding his own motets to this collection. In fact, they're one of the few vocal works that were sung right after Bach died. He's very well known for his instrumental work after he died, but the vocal works came to be known much later when his complete works were published in 1850. So the motets are really him carrying on a tradition, creating a library of music to be sung for the Lutheran liturgies. The text of this motet is special. It takes 2 sources. It takes the chorale by Johann Franck, the tune is by Kruger, and this text is very much first person. The title, Jesu, Meine Freude, Jesus, my joy. So as you're looking at the text, I encourage you to appreciate how much first person there is. It's not about we as believers, but a very individual point of view from the chorale text by Johann Franck. And then the other text comes from the letter to the Romans, chapter 8. And there seems to be a conversation going back and forth between the text of the chorales, which are very much about grief, and the Romans text is very much about hope. And I think there's an interesting balance and a conversation that goes back and forth between those 2 texts. Lastly, Bach is known very much as an architect of music. He's very interested in the structure, how things work. He is the composer against which we have been measuring our own composition ever since he died. Anyone who had to go to a music class and study harmony, we were all forced to rewrite Bach chorales and make sure all of our voice leading was in the proper place because Bach didn't say so. But so this tune especially, Jesu, Meine, Freude, Bach did not write hymn tunes, but he harmonized them. And he harmonized them in such a way that makes them really well known, beloved to us. And the motet in general is very large scale. It's about 20 minutes. Some of his other motets are between 5 and 10 minutes long. So this is an extended work, almost feels like a cantata in that it's in movements. A chorale text, and then a text from Romans. Chorale text. But because we want to carry the momentum along, we do go from section to section. Much like the St. John Passion, or the St. Matthew Passion, if you know that, there is a structure to those where there is a particular point in the middle where Bach is interested in the construction of the piece. And at the middle is what would be called the Herzstück. That is the central point against which all the rest of the piece is balanced. And Jesu, Meine, Freude has the same. So when we get to the middle section, ihr aber seid nicht fleischlich, sondern geistlich, you are no longer of the flesh, but of the spirit. That is the Herzstück, or literally the top of the palindrome. So the first movement and the last movement are identical chorales, and then each movement has its parallel on either side of this Herzstück, at which is a very difficult fugue to sing on this text, where the earthy, fleischlich, flesh-like substance of the chorale and the geistlich, spiritual element of the Romans text come together in this fugue, which is the top or the apex of this. So appreciate, if you can, the lineage of motets that Bach has added to, the balance of texts between the chorale and the text from Romans, and then the architectural structure are some of the things that really make this a very special piece, and we're delighted to sing it for you today. Thanks for being with us.
Sondern Den alten Drachen, Trotz des Todes Drachen, Trotz des Todes Drachen, Trotz der Furcht dazu, Trotz der Furcht, Trotz der Furcht dazu, toben und springen, ich stehe und singe, ich stehe und singe. Und Ihr aber seid nicht fleischlich, sondern Geist. Ihr aber seid nicht fleischlich, sondern Geist. Ihr aber seid nicht fleischlich, sondern Geist. Ihr aber seid nicht fleischlich,
so much. So now we'll move on to the chorale. So this chorale is based off of the same chorale tune, Jesu, Meine, Freude, but as Geoffrey may have mentioned, or maybe not. So I'll just give a brief comment about, so we did this piece last night at Nashoda House Theological Seminary for Geoffrey's Lenten lecture series. Basically, when we were trying to find singers, when I was trying to find Charlie and I, let me not block you. When Charlie and I were finding singers to do this piece, I contacted Stephen, who I know from my time in Boston, and he mentioned Geoffrey at Nashoda, and we talked. He's like, oh, well, I'm actually doing a lecture series on this piece on March 7th. And I'm like, well, I would like you to sing this on March 8th. So we basically performed for each other's groups, so to speak, and it worked out really great. But so this is another version of Jesu, Meine, Freude, but the harmonization is completely different. So when you're singing along with us, don't be tricked by what you just heard. It is going to sound a little different. I will pronounce the words, the German words, and then we will sing it first, and then please join us for the second time. So the words are, Jesu, meine Freude, meines Herzens Weide, Jesu, meine Zier. Ach, wie lang, ach, lange, ist dem Herzen bange und verlangt nach dir. Gottes Lamm, mein Bräutigam, außer dir soll mir auf Erde nichts sonst Liebes werden.